Hey, what's up guys? It's Marv and welcome back to another video. Today we got the patch notes for the new update for Asphalt Legends Unite. This is going to be the first major content update since the launch of Alu, and I'm not calling it by one name because we are getting 3 brand new seasons with this update. We are getting the Speed Parade season, then the Haunted Wheels season, and finally the Black Friday season. So before I get into all of the events and details, let's go over what you're really here for, the brand new cars. First up, we have the Aston Martin Valor, and this is a pretty okay B-class car. I was trying to compare its stats to anything I could find that is similar in B-class, and I'm comparing it to the Ford GT Mark II because it is literally 28 or 22 points below its rank. So it's pretty darn close. What you'll notice is the Ford GT vastly outranks it in terms of acceleration, handling, and nitro, and the top speed of the Valor is only a couple of miles per hour more than the Ford, I believe about 10 or so. So honestly, I don't really know how this car is going to fit into the overall B-class meta, considering the fact that this already isn't a very high rank, and it has some other cars that will probably destroy it in terms of multiplayer. Nonetheless, this is a really neat looking car. I think it's continuing that V12, one-off type of cars from Aston Martin. I could be a bit wrong on that one. I think it's similar to the Victor. Let me know in the comments if I've gotten that right. But either way, it's nice to see another Aston in Asphalt. Next up, we have probably one of the most leaked cars in Asphalt history. Yes, you've probably seen the Bugatti Mistral before, most likely from Asphalt 9 China Edition, where the car is already released. But either way, we now have it in Global Asphalt Legends Unite, and it's a pretty darn good S-Class car, with the main feature being its top speed. So in terms of rank, it is right above the Bugatti Cento Dieci and right below the Spark Al. So not quite a king of S-Class, we'll get to maybe one of those in a bit, but it is pretty darn good with a top speed of around 285 miles an hour. So again, this is pretty top tier in terms of top speed. You're looking at around similar performance to the Regera, those types of top speed. So not crazy over 300 like the Devil 16 or the Hennessy Venom F5, but pretty respectable nonetheless. But you also pair it with pretty decent acceleration. Not anything like the Spark Al or even the Cento Dieci, but above 80 is what you want to see for a good S-Class car. It also has pretty good handling stats, but we all know that those are a bit weird with S-Class cars, and its nitro is, well, honestly, about on par with other hypercars in Asphalt Legends Unite. Moving on to the premier S-Class car in this update, as I was alluding to earlier, this is the Zinger 21C. I've seen this car in real life at the LA Auto Show. It is really freaking cool to look at. But anyway, let's get on to talking about this car in Asphalt Legends Unite, because it is one of the other cars over 5,000 in rank. So this should be one of the kings of Asphalt Legends Unite, and based on some of the stats, I would say so. I would compare this more to the Koenigsegg Gemera than any of the other cars, just because its top speed is well below 300 at 262 miles an hour. However, would you just look at that acceleration stat, almost 90 at 89.07. So this is going to be fantastic in multiplayer, and it's probably going to be very good, especially at shorter tracks like Buenos Aires and Auckland. You can see handling at 49 is pretty decent, but again, who really can tell about the performance just based on the stats of an S-Class car? But the nitro is also a little bit okay, better than something like the Gemero and the Venom F5, but nothing crazy. So either way, the acceleration is really what I'm looking at for this car's main stat. Next up, we have the just announced Lamborghini Temerario. This is one I haven't seen in person yet. Hopefully I'll get to do that soon. But this is really cool that we're getting it so soon in Asphalt Legends Unite, and just like with the recently produced Lamborghini Revuelta, which I have seen in person, which is really cool, this car should be given out for free. We'll talk about the logistics of that a bit later, but yes, this is going to be a very easily obtainable car in this next update for Asphalt Legends Unite. But either way, let's talk about the stats, because for a free car, this is really awesome. You'll notice that the rank sits right below the current king, which is the Lotus ER9, at 4,398, and what you'll notice is that the stats aren't really too far off, to be honest. We have pretty decent top speed at 223, so just like the Revuelto, it should go around 233 with nitro. The acceleration is really good at just above 87. Handling also has great stats at above 70, and the nitro will last pretty long with above 60. So overall, this looks like it is going to be a really well-rounded car for the top of B class. Probably one of the kings, to be honest. I mean, obviously based on just its rank alone. What I find really weird is that in Asphalt Legends Unite, this is going to be better than the Lamborghini Revuelto, which is supposed to be the bigger brother with its V12 hybrid engine. This one does have a V10, which is really cool, but it doesn't really make too much sense. Although I know in Asphalt 8, I believe, when the Huracan was just announced, it was much better than the, I believe, Aventador or whatever car came before it. So that was quite interesting to see. So it looks like they're doing the same thing in this game. And just to correct myself, the Temerario will have a V8. Not like it's going to really matter with the game engine sounds in Asphalt, but just letting you guys know. Next up, we have a really neat car. This is the Mercedes-Benz Vision 111. I believe they did a similar type of concept car, maybe in the 80s or 90s. I could be getting that a bit wrong, but either way, this car looks really epic, and it's giving me Lightning vibes from that Mercedes-Benz Lightning car in Asphalt 8. Of course, not as crazy as that, but it's nice to see another Mercedes-Benz concept car in Asphalt. So if I'm not mistaken, this should be the new A-Class rank king. It sits just above the De Tomaso P72, and this has a rank of 4,600. Now, comparing it to the De Tomaso, it does have kind of similar layouts in terms of specs, but it does have a much quicker top speed starting at 238 miles an hour. So you're going to go almost 250 with nitro. In terms of acceleration, it also has the De Tomaso beat at 83.93, almost 84. It also beats it in the handling and nitro department as well. So in terms of just stats alone, I think we are looking at the new A-Class King. I'm going to be curious how we're going to unlock it. I'll talk about that later, but either way, this should be a very fun car to play with, and I think it definitely has a lot of the other A-Class cars beat in terms of well-rounded stats. Last but certainly not least, we have the TVR Sagaris. Now, this is a really quirky and interesting looking car. Personally, I've always had a fondness for those TVR cars, especially as Top Gear reviewed them way back when, but we are looking at a pretty mediocre C-Class car. Now, in terms of where it's placed, it's going to sit right below the Ortega Scalo Super Elettra. So again, not a king, but also not one of those trashy cars like the Dodge, although I will say the Dodge Challenger is the king of C-Class, of course. Now, in terms of top speed, it almost matches the Ortega at just about 194 miles an hour. It also doesn't have it beat though in acceleration, because the Ortega is an electric car, this is an internal combustion engine car. So this only has 75 acceleration, but it has quite good handling at almost 70 and very respectable nitro at almost 80. So I'm not really sure how this is going to fit in. We're going to talk about how you get this car a bit later, but to be honest, this is just going to be a nice to have in the garage rather than anything super useful for the overall meta of Asphalt Legends Unite. Alright, so let's talk about the events and changes coming with the 3 new seasons and this big update. Now, I'm not going to go into crazy detail because if I did so, we would be here for the next couple of hours. So I'm going to go over all of the main events that are going to be the most important for you to know, and we'll talk about some of the big changes as well. So starting with the Speed Parade season, we're going to have a couple of very big special events, starting off with the Lamborghini Temerario. Now, this will be a key car. However, as long as you play stage 1, you will get the free Lamborghini Temerario by getting the key in the first stage. So that's really cool. Of course, all of the support cars are going to be Lamborghinis, but you'll unlock this car for free, which is really awesome. Following up the Temerario, we will be getting a special event for the Zinger 21C, which I thought was pretty soon after the update, but that's quite nice. It will have its own bay of support cars as well. But we will also have an Unleashed event for the Porsche 911 GT2 RS Club Sport, which I honestly forgot was in this game for a very long time, so it's nice to see they are bringing it back. Now, just for your information, for this season, the Unite Pass car will be the TVR Sagaris. So it's not the worst pass car we've seen, but it's also not the best. We'll also be getting the Huracan Evo Starway and a Grand Prix for the Jaguar XJ220S TWR. In terms of those daily time-limited events, we're getting an Oktoberfest event with the Agera RS, the Lotus Elise, and the Maserati Alfieri. We're also getting a Dragon Festival event with the Draco GTE and a couple of other events that'll feature the FV Frangivento Sorpasso GT3, the McLaren 650S, and the Arish AF8. Next up, we have something really important to me. We are getting 2 esports events starting this season. First up, we will have the Temerario Esports Challenge. I assume this will play out kind of similarly to some of the other Lamborghini Esports challenges, just like the Revuelto. I actually casted that. Hopefully I'll be back for the Temerario because that would be really awesome. So Gameloft, if you're listening, I would love to be back for that. And we will also have another round of the Snapdragon Mobile Open ESL qualifiers. I don't have details in terms of the actual finals for that, but the qualifiers will be starting soon. And of course, we will get a plethora of car hunts, including the Gallardo LP560, the Aventador SV Coupe, the Aston Martin Victor, and the Pure Italia Berlinetta. Next up, we have the Haunted Wheels season. I assume this is going to be the Halloween-focused season, but we will have a couple of big special events, including the Mercedes-Benz Vision 111. This will have a bunch of support cars that honestly I was surprised to see aren't that bad, including the Draco GTE, the Aston Martin 177, the Lotus Evija, Huayra BC. I could go on with a couple of other ones, but either way, they aren't that bad, so hopefully this will be fairly easy to unlock. We will also have the return of the special event for the McLaren Senna, which is nice, and the Aston Martin Valor will debut in a Grand Prix, so that's nice. Unfortunately, that means it will be a key car, but you can get it in a Grand Prix. In terms of time-limited events, we are getting a Halloween-themed one around spiders, so we'll have the Porsche 918 Spider, the McLaren 570S Spider, the Huracan Evo Spider, the Murcielago Roadster, the Lykan Hypersport, the Lykan Neon, and the Diablo GT. And another couple of events were announced along with a bunch of car hunts, including the Panamera Turbo S, the Draco GTE, the Ferrari F50, and the Aston Martin Vantage GT12. Alright, and just like with every year, we are getting a Black Friday season. Now, I assume the reason why they announced 3 seasons during this update is because usually the Black Friday one is a condensed season, usually lasting only around 2 or 3 weeks. So I would expect the same thing, but we don't have any confirmed details yet. In terms of special events, we will of course be getting a Black Friday burst of speed. The cars being featured will be the Team Fordzilla P1, the Jaguar XJR9, the Torino designed Supersport, the Lykan Hypersport Neon Edition, the Deus Vian, and the Zenvo Aurora Tour. So pretty good lineup for this time around. No Hennessy Venom or Devil 16, unfortunately, this time around. Seems like we're gonna have to wait for those cars to really return in their own events later, maybe. The Bugatti Mistral will also have a special event that season. We don't have any information on support cars, unfortunately. And we will have a special car hunt for the Lamborghini Essenza SC V12. In terms of time-limited events, we are getting a normal Black Friday event with the Apollo IE, the Rimac Concept 1, and the Bugatti Chiron. There is also going to be a Cyber Monday mini event featuring the Volkswagen Electric R. The Porsche 911 is having a birthday event with a bunch of 911 models included in that event, but no super confirmed details. We are also getting a bunch of car hunts, including the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, the Apollo IE, which I'm really excited about, and a Unite Pass exclusive car hunt for the Maserati MC20. There's also going to be one more car hunt, but that is currently being decided in the Discord poll. So go ahead and join the Asphalt Legends Unite Discord, and you can also join my Discord as well, but you can vote for the community car hunt in that Discord vote. Okay, so we are done with the events. Let's talk about other changes and features because this is really important. When we saw the release of Asphalt Legends Unite, we saw a bunch of changes and a couple of things that didn't quite make the launch. For example, the Clash, but I can finally let you guys know that the Clash is coming back. We don't have any crazy details about whether or not a bunch of changes are coming, but we do know we will have the Clash from this update, so that's nice to see. I know you guys have been waiting to try and get some of those Clash currencies to spend in the Clash shop, so now you can. One of the more disappointing features with Asphalt Legends Unite was the fact that the Legend Store wasn't updated for the higher garage levels. So I'm really excited to let you guys know that the Legend Store is getting updated with, well, this update. So if you're collector stage 1 and 2, or if you're way high up in those higher garage levels, you will get all of those added cars to the shop. There are a couple of car balancing changes. I'm not going to go into the very specifics of that, but the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA M is getting a buff, the EB110 is getting a bit of a buff, and the Mach-E is getting a nerf to some things, but also it's getting an overall buff in terms of stability. There is also a big list of general fixes. Again, I'm not going to go into crazy detail because there is a lot, but I'm really excited to see that they are actively working on a bunch of fixes. Notably though, for this update, it seems like the multiplayer name tags are going to be tweaked. So I know you guys have been really complaining, and so have I, about those big name tags in multiplayer. You can't really see what's in front of you. Those are getting changed. No details about that yet though. And the Singapore track is getting updated. It just says it's getting a few tweaks based on community feedback, so we don't have the specifics. I don't expect massive layout changes, unfortunately, but at the very least, hopefully we will get some changes to the grip and stability of cars around certain corners. I know it felt like certain corners just felt like ice, so hopefully those have been tweaked at the very least. And of course, we're just getting a bunch of bug fixes and changes. So I'm going to call that the Speed Parade update. We got 3 brand new seasons, a bunch of cars, and more importantly, a bunch of added features and fixes for Asphalt Legends Unite. I'm really excited about this update, and I'm really excited that the devs are really focused on fixing those bugs and adding those missing features. Hopefully that means for the next big update, which may include the next Drive Syndicate, if we know the pattern of Drive Syndicates, we'll also maybe get a new track. This is just pure speculation though. Hopefully in that update, we will also continue to see new features and bug fixes, and maybe we'll see smaller patches along the way as well. So I'm really excited for the new cars because they all seem, well, with the exception of a couple of them, pretty darn good, especially for those higher ranked cars, and they don't seem like they're going to be too crazy to unlock. So I've saved over 100,000 tokens. Maybe this time I'm going to start spending them. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts about the Speed Parade update in the comment section down below, and I will catch you all later.